The Egyptian wagon stood in the dusty fields of Canaan, a tangible, impossible proof of a truth Jacob's grieving heart could barely comprehend. Joseph was alive. The spirit of the old patriarch, long dormant under the weight of sorrow, was revived. "It is enough," he declared. "My son Joseph is still alive. I will go and see him before I die." And so began the great migration. Israel, who was called Jacob, took his journey with all that he had. His sons, their wives, their children, 70 souls, in all a great clan leaving the land, promised to their fathers to venture into the heart of Egypt. It was an act of profound faith, a journey into the unknown, driven by an old man's last and most desperate hope. Along the way, they came to Beersheba, a place sacred to his own father, Isaac. There, Jacob offered sacrifices to God, and in the visions of the night, God spoke to him. "Jacob, Jacob," the voice called. And he answered, "Here I am." The Lord said, "I am God, the God of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for there I will make you into a great nation. I myself will go down with you to Egypt, and I will also bring you up again." With this divine reassurance, the last of Jacob's fears were calmed. He could now complete his journey with a heart full of peace. As the caravan drew near to Egypt, Jacob sent his son Judah ahead to meet Joseph and to direct him to the land of Goshen, the fertile delta region that Pharaoh had set aside for them. Then, the moment that had been 22 years in the making finally arrived. Joseph made ready his chariot and rode out from his palace to meet his father. He saw the caravan of his family, the people he had not seen since he was a boy of 17. And he saw his father, an old man, frail and weathered by 2 decades of grief. Joseph presented himself to his father, and he fell on his neck, and he wept on his neck a good while. The powerful governor of Egypt, the man who held the fate of the world in his hands, was once again just a son, clinging to the father he thought he would never see again. Through his own tears, Jacob spoke, his voice filled with a final profound contentment. "Now," he said, "let me die, since I have seen your face and know that you are still alive." The reunion was complete. Joseph brought his family and settled them in the best of the land, in the land of Goshen. He presented 5 of his brothers before Pharaoh, and then he brought in his father. The meeting of the 2 great patriarchs, one a king of the world's greatest empire, the other a simple shepherd who had wrestled with God, was a sight to behold. And Jacob, in his quiet authority, blessed Pharaoh. As the famine raged on, Joseph's strategic genius continued to save the nation. He gathered up all the money in Egypt and Canaan in exchange for grain. When the money failed, he took the people's livestock. And when the livestock was gone, he took their land, making all of Egypt the property of Pharaoh and its people his servants, ensuring their survival through his wise and steady leadership. But while his family thrived in Goshen, Jacob knew that Egypt was not their final home. As his own life drew to a close, he made Joseph swear a solemn oath. "Do not bury me in Egypt," he commanded, "but let me lie with my fathers. Carry me out of Egypt and bury me in their burying place." Joseph swore the oath. The broken family was now healed and secure, saved by the very son they had cast out. The patriarch Jacob was at peace, his life's greatest sorrow having been transformed into his life's greatest joy. But even in this land of plenty, his eyes were still fixed on the horizon, on the promised land, on the future of the great nation that God had promised would spring from his sons.